that my ignition... Alright, if you've been watching some of my more recent videos, you may have noticed that my fuse panel cover was missing, which is supposed to go right here on the handlebar clamp. So what happened with the panel was one of the screw mounts right here just broke off, and unfortunately now I can't fasten the fuse panel down. So it got me thinking, well, I wonder if maybe I could start to clean this whole area up by removing this fuse box and then replacing the clamps with something else. So what I found was, I found a couple CM400 clamps from I think a 1980 Honda CM400, which looks like they should bolt into place, which would then free up my ability to move this fuse box somewhere else. Now there's a couple things I'm trying to figure out still, but hey, this is a project, so I'll figure it out. And that is what I need to do with the ignition and what I need to do with the choke. But for starters in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to relocate the fuse box, see if I can get these clamps on here to create a cleaner look. And what I think I can do is move this fuse box underneath the tank in a place that's still accessible and a little bit cleaner. Now, I realize that the fuse box is these exposed tube style fuses, which would be probably pretty unsafe hidden underneath the tank. So what I found was this nice little automotive fuse block that has 4 banks and uses the blade type fuse, like so. So what I think I'm going to do is replace this tube type fuse block with this blade type automotive fuse block, and simply just move the wires over from here to this, and then hide this underneath the base of the gas tank. Right down here underneath the gas tank is a fairly open area that I believe this could be mounted. So what Honda did from the factory was integrate the handlebar clamp with a fuse block right in the center. Now there's 2 different versions of this fuse block, so you might see something slightly different than what I have here. And if you notice, at the top is a small ring which holds in the ignition. Now there's kind of a trick to removing this after removing the 4 Allens, and that is that you've got to get the fuse block out of the clamp, there we go, and then remove the fuse block separately. Also, you may want to remove the negative terminal to the battery before doing any work on the bike. Just a short disclaimer from me. So it turns out that the CM400 clamps bolted right on perfectly, and the CM400 comes with these nice chrome bolts which look pretty good. And down the road, what I'll do is I'll repaint those clamps in the future. So what I'm trying to do here is remove the ignition switch, which is a little bit tricky to get out. I think you're supposed to remove all of the gauges and the headlight to get it out, but with a little bit of finagling, it's not too difficult to remove. So this blade type fuse block I picked up on Amazon, and it roughly fits the width of the frame of the bike and is low profile enough to fit underneath the tank, from what I can tell, without banging into anything. Okay, so here's what's going on here. I've got 4 fused lines for one side, and I'm going to match that up with a single power line from the other side. So I guess what I've got to do here is make a little bridge across these 4 lines to this single main line. So eventually when it's all done, it'll look like that, coming in off the block. So what I ended up having to do for this first iteration is solder a single wire across all 4 of those terminals. In hindsight, I should have found a block with a single connector that sends power to all 4 terminals, but you know, you live, you learn. So I'll change that in the future. Okay, now I'm sure I'm going to get a comment from somebody that says, "Why are you using a zip tie? You should mount it down properly." Don't worry, it's just temporary. By the looks of it, there's just the right amount of space up there. I might actually move it down just a little bit, but there's just enough space that's not snug against the tank. None of the wires look stressed at all. So if I can lift it up here enough. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Actually, pretty happy with that. Okay, looks like the CM400 clamps worked out perfectly. I've got the fuse box relocated, and it looks like it's situated in a place where it will fit underneath the gas tank. In the next video, I'm going to be looking into what to do about the ignition switch. I need to relocate somewhere other than right here on the triple tree. And I'm also going to look into what to do with the choke. So, see you next time. Thanks for watching.